What is going on, you guys? Bastion Wise here. It might sound like I've done this before because I did. I recorded the entire video and I forgot to hit record on my audio. So if I sound a little like I've done this before, that's why. But how's it going, you guys? Bastion Wise here, and today I'm going to be coming at you with one of the best decks of the format, the Spright deck. No. Not just the Spright deck, guys. It's gonna be a lot better, a little bit more spicy, a little bit more zing and zang than just a Spright deck. Okay, no swap frogs in this one. I'm bringing you guys a tri-brigade Spright deck profile. No, super crazy. You guys definitely did not see this coming. I'm definitely not saying this for the very second time, so I have a little bit more time to rehearse it. No, that's not what happened at all. So so Spright tri-brigade, or tri-brigade Spright, I want to say. So I mean, I know tri-brigade has a lot of synergy with, of course, any beast warrior, wing beast, you know, center decks. You know, you guys see Melfi, Harpy, barrier statue, apex avian, you know, just random stuff like that. Lyra Lusk, I don't know why I saved that one for last, but Lyra Lusk is a very strong version of that deck as well. But you know, sprites aren't necessarily beast warrior, wing beast monsters. So what they have synergy with is that tri-brigade has two key level 2 monsters in their arsenal, which is tri-brigade Karas and tri-brigade Kit, both level 2 monsters that are easily summoned because they are level 2 monsters. Karas is the only extender that tri-brigade has as an archetype, and that is where Spright comes into play. So Spright, what it does for tri-brigade. Now remember, this is a tri-brigade deck with a Spright engine. There's a huge difference between a Spright deck with a tri-brigade engine, and I know I'm saying that quite a bit, but I do want to emphasize that there is a huge difference. So the tri-brigade deck is complemented by the Spright engine only because the Sprites give it more additional extenders for the deck, so which means the deck is able to grind out a lot more monsters in its opening board. A lot of times when you're playing tri-brigade, pure tri-brigade, you're ending on an Appaloosa and a tri-brigade revolt. Maybe your Appaloosa has 3, maybe 4 negates. Very unlikely for it to have 4 negates, but most likely it's going to have anywhere between 2 and 3 negates when you're summoning her out on your first turn. And that's just your average board you're mainly going to see. Maybe you have a Dragon Lords on there as well. So it's a slightly underwhelming, but with the Spright engine in here, you have so much more versatility with the deck that is actually really cool to see. So I want to go ahead and show you guys what this deck can really do. So without further ado, guys, if you guys do enjoy these type of videos, go ahead and leave a like down below, subscribe for more, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and let's get right into that deck profile, guys. Alright, so now that I've double, triple, quadruple checked my mic is working, can you hear me? Hello. So this is gonna be the tri-brigade Spright deck profile for you guys. I just want to go ahead and get right into it for you guys. So start things off, we weigh 3 copies of Fractal, 3 copies of Kit, 3 copies of Nerval, and then 3 copies of Karas. We're maxing out on all tri-brigade monsters except for Mercourier, not necessarily a tri-brigade card, even though it says tri-brigade in the name. You can kind of count that one out, so guys, we're not playing any type of branded nonsense in this deck. We're playing straight tri-brigade with the Spright engine. So anyway, so Karas and Kit are going to be, as I mentioned before, your 2 level 2 monsters that you are going to want to have on board, and you're very easily able to abuse these 2 cards through Spright Elf and Gigantic Spright. So Gigantic Spright is going to be able to summon either these 2 cards from the main deck, whereas Spright Elf is going to be able to summon these from the graveyard. So you get 2 free summons of Karas and Kit. Don't forget about Ferrigit, which can also special summon an additional one from your hand. So that's 3 additional summons you are going to be getting straight from there. So it's really good to have, especially in this deck. So like I said before, Karas is going to be the only real extender that tri-brigades have, but all of these do have effects when either sent to the graveyard or send themselves to the graveyard in the event of Fractal. So really good to go ahead and have these on board as well, because they are going to be able to go ahead and gain effects when they are detached as well from Gigantic Spright. So you're going to be detaching Kit to activate Kit's effect when you detach from Gigantic Spright, and that's just something really cool to note for you guys. So it will activate on detach, so definitely go ahead and keep that in mind as well. So next we have 3 copies of Rescue Cat. Rescue Cat, kind of essential in this deck. You don't really want to play it when playing a tri-brigade Lyra Lusk build because you want to focus A lot more on the Lyralust engine as well, making sure you're able to summon out your Utopic Draco Future, your Lyralust Ensemble Robin, you know, things like that. You know, really cool as far as that goes, and that's all fantastic. That's all sunshine and rainbows. But in this deck, you already want to go ahead and maximize on Rescue Cat, only because Rescue Cat summons out Kit and it summons out Karas for free from your deck. So you're already halfway through your engine just by summoning Rescue Cat. So really good cards to go ahead and have, especially in your main deck, definitely. So that's going to be it for the Tri-Brigade package, guys, and the Rescue Cats in your main deck. Now onto the Sprite part of it. You play 3 Sprite Blue, 3 Sprite Jet, and then 1 copy of Sprite Red. Sprite Red is kind of like the Sprite that does need to be played in the event you need it, but you know, it's kind of not the most necessary to go ahead and continue extending. So it is going to be a really good card because it adds an additional negate onto your board, onto your end board, which is something that Tri-Brigade doesn't really have, except for, of course, Appaloosa, like I mentioned before. Double Dragon Lord is not a negation. Tri-Brigade Revolt, again, is not a negation, it's just a hindrance. So having the ability to add more negation onto your board is going to be huge for the Tri-Brigade deck. So you definitely want to go ahead and play these as well, because they are free searchers, extenders, and they get additional negations onto your board. So these are going to be the best ones for the Sprite. Let me go ahead and mute my phone. Now, on to the hand traps, guys. We played 2 copies of Effect Veiler, 1 copy of Deity Code because it is searchable, 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, and 3 copies of Cyframe Gamma, along with the 1 driver, of course. Last hand trap that we played double Infinite Impermanence. Now, if you guys can already see, we are playing 3 copies of Crossout Designator. Crossout Designator is going to be essential in this specific strategy, not tragedy. Now, for a while now, I've been a huge advocate of making sure that I myself play Triple Tactics Talents over Crossout Designator, but in this specific deck, it is very sensitive in a lot of spots regarding hand traps. So you are going to want to protect yourself as much as possible, because if a hand trap hits you the right way, and there's so many bottleneck effects with Tri-Brigade, which is one of the I guess main issues with the deck. If you get hit at the right time, your deck is done. It's game over. You have no real way to interact with your opponent, except for, of course, if you have hand traps, things like that. So that is something to keep in mind as well. But that's why Crossout Designator is going to be better in this specific build. Also, with Triple Tactics Talents, let's say you draw 2, try to get additional extenders. If you have not been able to establish Tri-Brigade Kit and Karas, then your Sprite engine is pretty much shut off from there. So that is something that you are going to want to keep in mind moving forward. All in all, Crossout Designator is allowing you to activate your Tri-Brigade effects on the field that allow you to special summon the Link monsters, and without having to fear any repercussions for those effects going off. So really good card to especially have in the main deck, in specifically Tri-Brigade Spright, or Tri-Brigade in general. Next for the spells, guys, we play 3 copies of Sprite Starter. Really no explanation needed here. Free extender. Call Belgrave, again, no real need to explain this card. It should be banned, absolutely broken, and you have to play it. 3 copies of Crossout Designator. Already talked about this card. 2 copies of Emergency Teleport. Why 2 copies over 3 copies? So essentially, I didn't want to play Ghost Ogre in this deck because I don't feel like Ghost Ogre is good in the current format. It's only good against Sprite, and it's only good against Sprite if you're able to activate it in a specific time. So, you know, I want to go ahead and just get rid of it for right now. At least in this specific deck, I just don't have the space for it. As you guys can see, I'm playing a 45 card main deck, which is something I, again, try to stay away from, but in the event it's necessary, it's necessary. So 2 Telly, just go ahead and be able to activate 1 Gamma as for its negation effect, and then I still have 2 more in the main deck to go ahead and bring out with Emergency Teleport. Next, 1 copy of Sprite Smashers, because you are going to need Optimistic Mind, of course. And for the traps, I already said we played 2 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Really good card. Really good against Tri-Brigade as well, but that's why we play Crossout Designator along with Effect Veiler. And then for the last trap, we play 1 copy of Tri-Brigade Revolt. Pretty standard stuff, guys. Nothing too crazy. We're not trying to break the mold, but I do want to see how this is going to fare. Now, I am recording this after, of course, I watched the 9 rounds day 1 of the European Nationals, because or European Championship, I should say, because I haven't had really time to do these videos during, because I only 1 computer, beside the point. So I did not see this specific build, but I did see Sprite, I feel like, lose quite a bit. So Spright, I think, is the best deck because it's the most consistent deck. It's very similar to Salamangreat in that sense, where Salamangreat was one of the best decks of that format, a few formats ago, but it's really just because it was that much more consistent than every single other deck, and that's kind of what I'm seeing with Spright as well. It's not an obscenely broken deck, and I think that's something that Konami is doing very, very well as of recent is making Yu-Gi-Oh decks that are very powerful but also fair. So there's nothing really cancerous in the current format right now except Mystic Mine, Artifact, and Artifact Scythe. But besides those two cards, any type of specific decks that are cancerous, I really can't find any at the current moment. Just a few cards here in the meta that we already know we need to get rid of, but that's really much it. So hats off to Konami real fast in the middle of this deck profile just for making more fair decks here as of a few formats ago and down the line. So I want to go ahead and bring out to appreciate. But enough with the sob story and the appreciations. We're here for a deck profile, damn it. So for our extra deck, guys, we play one copy of Gigantic Sprights, and you're not going to need any more than this because once this goes off, you're pretty much never going to see this ever again. For the extra deck, is going to be very centric on tri-brigade extenders, which your sprites will then become just extenders. You're not really using them to bring out Swap Frog. You don't care about Swap Frog. You don't care about Double A Zeus in this build. There's really no space for it. So for the links, you're going to play one copy of Scareclaw Liked Heart. So Liked Heart, you're never going to be able to hard make this only because it requires either one Scareclaw or one Visa Starfrost. And Visa Starfrost is, I don't know if it's a really good card or not, but I mean, that's a separate topic for another video. But you're never going to be able to hard make this because it does require a Scareclaw monster. But it is a Link 1 Beast Warrior. So that means that in the event that you only have one of your tri-brigade names in the graveyard, or one Beast Warrior, one Beast in the graveyard, and you have one tri-brigade on the field, this will let you banish only one of those monsters to go ahead and have a Link 1 to be able to summon. So this is definitely going to be able to replace the Almirage you were playing in before in your tri-brigade builds, because it lets you have an additional extender as well. Next, one copy of IP Masquerena, broken card. One copy of Double Dragon Lords, again, broken tri-brigade card essentially. No one plays Ancient Warriors, but is really good for the tri-brigade strategy. Next, play two copies of Spright Elf, which we already talked about, abuses Spright Kit and Kuras nonetheless. Next, we play one copy of Pit Knight Eerily. This is an insane card out of Power of the Elements, and if you guys have not heard of it before, this is something that you definitely want to go ahead and get acquainted with. So basically, Pit Knight Eerily, arrows to the right and top right hand corner, basically says if the monster this card points to activates its effect, you get to trigger the effect to target a monster your opponent controls, make its attack 0, and then negate its effects. So it's insanely good, especially in just the Spright strategy itself, because Sprites do tend to struggle when getting over very large monsters for the most part. Yes, there are outs, I know, I understand, but for the most part, it would be fair to say that Spright has issues getting over larger monsters. So this is definitely a very easy way to go ahead and either make your attack 0, or just negate effects on your opponent's board during your turn, their turn. It really does not matter. It's a quick effect, and it also has free recursion if this card is in the graveyard during the end phase because it was destroyed by battle or by your opponent's card effect. You can go ahead and special summon her for free, which is absolutely insane. Next, to round off the extra deck, guys, we play one copy of Ferjit, one copy of Bearbrum, self-explanatory, and tri-brigade of course, one copy of Lambda because I don't want to have a dead Gamma in my hand, very fair request I would say, one copy of Doom Eagle because it's a really good card, definitely in tri-brigade. It's better than Rugal, I would say, so definitely want to play one copy of Doom Eagle if you have it. One copy of Appaloosa, one Access Code Talker, guys, and the last gonna be two copies of Shirag the Omen. So if you guys are used to playing tri-brigades, I know that you guys like to get rid of one Shirag in your turn 1 board to go ahead and search out a DD Crow, whatever it might be. Just be careful doing this, you guys, because you are only going to be having the space to play 2 of them. This extra deck is extremely tight, I would say. I'm not really seeing any specific flex spots. Maybe Pit Knight Eerily if you guys really want to play something else, but I think that is really good. Maybe the Lambda as well, but again, I think all these are going to be essential. I think this is going to be the best tri-brigade Spright deck you guys are going to see out there. Honestly, if you guys have any suggestions, go ahead and let me know in the comment section down below, but let me know what you guys think about this specific build and this specific mashup of decks. Honestly, I think it's super spicy. It's going to make playing Spright a little bit more fun. It can be a little bit stale at this point. Like I said, it's a little bit more like Salamangreat, where you're pretty much going through the same play every single time, and that's also why Spright is so good, because it's so darn consistent, and it does what it does very well, very consistently. It very rarely does it ever brick. But I think that takes away a little bit of the fun away from playing the deck, because it is so linear. And that's why I think tri-brigade is so much fun to go ahead and play with it, because it adds a little more combo lines to it, and it adds a little more unpredictability to it as well. So overall, that's my thoughts for the tri-brigade Spright deck, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. If it's something you guys do enjoy, let me know by hitting the like button and hitting that subscribe button, guys. The subscribes have been absolutely insane as of recent, guys. Thank you guys so much for helping us grow this channel and helping us grow the community, guys. Again, thank you guys so much, and I appreciate you, and I'll see you guys in the next one.